We will begin with an overview on green logistics. Why are we talking about green logistics? The logistics sector is responsible for a considerably large portion of CO2 emissions. Today, CO2 production from the industry amounts to approximately 23%. CO2 is a major contributor towards global warming, the results of which are clear to see. Catastrophes such as Hurricane Katrina, the violent windstorm Kirill, or the just recent Hurricane Sandy seem to happen more often and at shorter intervals. Despite a broad reluctance to cooperate and commit to a uniform CO2 action plan, several countries have acknowledged the importance of addressing the CO2 output problem, and have thus vowed to fight the global warming process by introducing individual measures toward a proposed common action plan. In the past, a more global attempt was pursued, the Kyoto Protocol, which was initiated in 1997. The Kyoto Protocol recommended a reduction of the yearly CO2 emissions produced by all industrialized countries by an average of 5.2% per year, with the first binding period between 2008 to 2012, back in 1990. While the protocol seemed promising at the beginning, it failed as a whole, and its future is being negotiated as we speak. At the center of its discussion hangs the dispute over a follow-up protocol, which would call for an increase on CO2 reduction and would require all Kyoto Protocol members to participate. The Kyoto Protocol is usually discussed at climate conferences hosted by the UN on a yearly basis. During the Bali Climate Conference in 2007, it was agreed that in another 2 years at the 2009 Climate Conference in Copenhagen, members would finalize an arrangement which would succeed the 2012 ending Kyoto Protocol. Unfortunately, all efforts toward this attempt failed too. Hence, CO2 production grows continuously and inexorably, currently amounting to the dramatic yearly output of 4.1 billion tons. Nevertheless, and regardless of whether any support will ever arrive from the Kyoto Protocol or the UN, some private enterprises are committed to taking the initiative themselves and promise to include climate goals in their business strategies. DHL and the German Bundespost, which promised to achieve a 30% reduction of their self-produced CO2 output by the year 2020, are perhaps the best examples of such individual corporate action plans.